A typical day in the villa starts with waking up and getting ready in the morning. Then one by one, people will kind of filter down into the Mensa where we eat all of our meals. I'm typically the first person down in the Mensa, so it's pretty cool that I get to see people like come down slowly, and like I get to start talking to people, ask them how their night was, ask like what they're doing today, and just really engage in the community in that aspect. After breakfast, typically people have Italian as their first class Monday through Thursday. So one by one, we'll kind of also filter down to the bottom level of our villa where all of our classrooms are.
We go downstairs to Italian class all together, and it's really funny because we kind of all march down at the exact same time, which is like 9 o'clock, which is pretty special because that's only because we have our classes in the same place where we live. So it's pretty advantageous.
A typical class here in the villa is there's a couple of different formats that teachers like to follow. Some classes are going to be lecture classes where it's like a typical class. You'll take notes and you'll get familiar with material that professors give out. But what's unique about the Pepperdine Florence program is that oftentimes you'll be going into the city for different field trips to learn about different places in Florence or in the greater area of Tuscany. What's super interesting, for example, is in a humanities class that I was in, we learned about the Duomo of Florence and who made it, how it was made, and all these different facts about it. And then the next class, we were actually able to go into the city and to see it with like with our eyes, just and to be able to see like everything that our professor was describing, and it really immersed us in what we were learning and how we were able to connect with the material outside the classroom as well.
The class sizes, they're not too big, which is pretty awesome because you get more one-on-one time with your professors. The professors here, as I've seen, are very, very helpful, very communicative, and they're like great resources. You know, I haven't had one professor where I feel intimidated by. Yeah, it's great.
And yeah, that's how our mornings start. After that, there's kind of this unspoken rule that everyone goes to the common room after their classes, whether it's Italian or some other class they take here. And it's a great way just to connect with people and just to continue to foster that community that we do a great job here. Oftentimes, I'll come in the library just to have some peace and quiet and to work on whatever I have to work on. And at 1 o'clock, everyone eats their meals in the Mensa. And it's a great way to, again, engage in the community because everyone has to eat their meals together. We have one Mensa where there's enough seats for everyone and everyone is able to have a meal together. After lunch, people will typically have one or two more classes. People will be filtering in and out the villa, doing whatever they want to do throughout the day, whether it's going to a local cafe, going to a bookstore, doing some shopping, going to see the Duomo. It's all a great way to engage in the Italian culture because our villa is so close to the downtown Florence area. You can really experience whatever you want to experience on a daily basis, which is pretty interesting. For dinner, people will typically do one of two things. They'll either dine out, whether it's takeout or sit down at a restaurant, or they'll cook food in the student center.
So for dinner, I really like going out to small restaurants, and I love, exploring those like mom pop hole in the wall restaurants because they're going to be good no matter what, and they're always like really fairly priced, and they give you a great experience because they really do make you feel at home.
The dinners can sometimes take a while, up to like 2 to 3 hours at the longest. But again, that's just to de-stress, get to know the Italian culture, get to know the people you're studying with, and to just have a really, really good and affordable meal here in Florence. After that, it's kind of free game for whatever you want to do. Sometimes people will go out into the city and just to continue to explore different areas of the city. People will come back, maybe throw on a movie, listen to music. Oftentimes people are playing video games when they can include each other in some sort of game. People play spike ball, people play basketball, ping pong is huge here. At this point, people will also start homework, doing a little bit of studying, maybe some time to themselves.
I'm a big advocate for not having any expectations when it comes to going abroad. Personally, I had maybe one friend, and that's because he lived in the same house as me freshman year. When I came here, I didn't have a strong foundation with anybody, and I personally think that's very advantageous because, you know, it was like it served as like an open floor plan for me when it came to like making relationships and friendships.
And that's a typical day studying in the Pepperdine Villa. We're so excited for you guys to come explore Florence and to better immerse yourself in the Italian culture, all while making meaningful connections in this beautiful villa that we call our home.